Okay.
Okay. So
We have
I
around
think
40 people now. First of all,
yes.
just for me to understand, are all of you engineering students or from other faculties as well, or other kuliah as well? Okay, Brother Adib said, okay, engine, and Sister Asma, KOE student. Okay, all right. Okay, engine. So I think I would assume that all of you here are engineering students, eh? If there are any that are not from Kuliah of Engineering, please let me know so that I can fine tune my
Sir, I'm the one who is not in engineering.
Oh, which Kuliah are you from?
I'm from Econs.
Econs. Okay, mashallah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, I think.
Oh, we have also from ICT, Khairul Najmi.
Yeah.
All right. So
fine. I think we should start our program now. Okay. Bismillah. Now we will officially begin our long-awaited event. It is a great pleasure and privilege for me to welcome all of you to this momentous event. Praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our help that we are able to gather for our program today. We highly appreciate your presence in attending this event. I'm Saida Maria Susan, your MC for today. In order to get his blessings, I would like to invite Brother Muhammad Shirajuddin for the dua recitation. Please welcome. Amin. Thank you, Brother Shirajuddin, for the dua. May Allah bless this morning's knowledge sharing session to go on without any interruptions or obstacles, inshallah. Before we move to our most awaited moment, I will briefly introduce our beloved and honorable guest, Mr. Ridzuan bin Muhammad Hamid. He is one of our profound alumni of IIUM who graduated in 2004 from Bachelor of Engineering specializing in Materials Engineering, and he completed his Master's in Science in Emergency Response and Planning in the year 2007 from University Putra, Malaysia. Currently, he is the lead piping engineer at Petrofac Malaysia Limited. Thus, we feel delighted to have an amazing speaker for today's sharing session. And now, let's have a glimpse on SITC KhAIR session. Today's topic is Mindset of Champions. For the participants, if you have any question during the session, welcome Sir Ridzuan bin Muhammad Hamid. And this floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sister Saida. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Okay. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everyone. Okay, thank you for your commitment for spending time out of your busy weekend schedule to spend time, and inshallah we may share some information and we may learn something, inshallah, by the blessing of Allah. Okay, so I don't. Okay, I was informed. I was invited by the director of the industrial links, which is Associate Professor Khairul Azami bin Siddiq. He was my coursemate back in when we were studying. We both graduated in 2004. So he told me that okay, because one of you did ask why were you selected to join this program. Okay, what he told me is that okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I was told. This session is a sharing session with an alumni for students who have CGPA around 2.5 and below. Okay, if any of you have more than 2.5, please let me know. It doesn't really matter because in the end, your journey is much longer, much further than this. University life is just like from 4 to 6 years, where you're going to spend more than 20, more than almost 30 years working. Okay, all right. Just a bit of myself, as in the screen right away. Currently, my name is Ridzuan Hamid. I'm currently 42 years old. Okay, same age with Professor Azami, associate professor, but normally for lecturers we call them professor as a sign of respect. Okay, Professor Azami. I started working in 2005. Okay, I finished my studies in 2004 November actually, and then in 2005 February I got my first job in Khartoum, Sudan. So for those who are studying in UAE, for you guys, please be aware that your degree with IIUM qualifies you to work anywhere around the world. Why? Because we learn in English, and English is the lingua franca currently in the world. At this current civilization, yes, English is the lingua franca. So with our qualification, we are qualified to work anywhere around the globe. So my first job was in Khartoum. So I was in Khartoum from 2005 and 2006. Then I came back and I joined, stayed in Kuala Lumpur. And then in 2008, I got another job. Previously I was with MMC Oil and Gas. MMC Oil and Gas is an oil and gas company. So I started my job in the oil and gas industry. And then for 3 years plus, and then I joined another company named SBM Offshore. So from MMC to SBM, 3-letter words company to another 3-letter words company. SBM Offshore is a oil and gas company as well, which they build oil platforms on top of ships. And they have they have around 70 patents, 70 technical patents, which technology, 70 engineering technologies, which they patented, and they were the primary player of the industry. So I work with SBM Offshore. I was sent to Angola. So I worked in Angola as well back in 2009. Yeah, in 2009 was it's not 2009. 2010. In 2010, I worked in Angola. In 2013, I worked in Jakarta. And at that time, the company sent me as an expatriate together with the whole package. Of course, when we were sent outside, we are considered expatriates, but normally it's single package. But in my case, they sent me together with my family. So they gave me house, they gave me car, they gave me all my kids get education, and the company pays for it. Okay, and then in 2015, I left the company and I joined another company in Iraq. Okay, name of the place is Misan State. Name of the state is Misan. The name of the field is Halfaya field in Iraq. So I worked there for a year, and then I came back, and now I'm with Petrofac Malaysia Limited as a chief engineer, lead piping engineer specifically for mechanical piping. Okay, overseeing the overall offshore production and activities for Petrofac Malaysia. Okay, that is on in terms of work. In terms of my engagement with our university, kuliah, because where we learn is where we should contribute back. Right, there's a saying in Malay, di mana bumi dipijak, di situ bumi langit dijunjung. Okay, and it's always good to give back, because as engineers or as professionals, we go to university, we are given the privilege to learn. some of you are even paid to learn, or even given money in terms of loan or scholarships to learn, to think. Basically, that is why we go to universities, not just to get a piece of paper so that we can get some work. That is not the right reason why you should pursue education. Otherwise, you will end up uh, going for the wrong reasons and not being satisfied in life later on, because it is the pursuit of ilm, that is actually moving us forward. Because after you work, after you finish your studies, your education continues. It doesn't end with your degree. Okay, it doesn't really have to be in terms of masters or PhD, but your education will improve in terms of certification, in terms of competency level increases and everything. Okay, before that, my voice is very clear, right? Just let me know if you can't hear me. Semua okay, eh?
Clear.
Yeah, thank you. Alright, so with our alumni, I am currently the president for IUM Engineering Alumni. I've been actively giving back to UIA, I think since 2000. Before I left for Iraq, I was already giving certain sessions, seminar sessions. The course that we normally take, and the class is only on Friday afternoon. So I've given 1 or 2 talks, but then after I came back from Iraq and staying in KL, so I became one of the regular guest speakers for seminar, particularly for the Department of Manufacturing and Materials, and also assessor for IDP. So as those of you who are taking IDPs, then you might see me later on lah when you take your IDP as an assessor, especially the materials and manufacturing students. Okay, we also do a lot of programs. I've also given some talks about Industry 4.0. So if you have anything related that you want to ask about Industry 4.0, that is currently the term now. The industry is moving on from Industry 3.0 to 4.0. So it's been revolving. Industry revolves. There's a long story to it, but we can share later on if we have the time, inshallah. So I've given some talks about that as well, and I'm also the board of studies panel member, reviewing syllabus and advising any syllabus changes or to remain certain syllabus particularly for materials engineering. So we had a session with Engineering Accreditation Council back in 2020 to prepare the report. And what do we suggest in terms of improvement to our current syllabus? Okay, I am also the Industry Advisory Panel for Fakulti Kejuruteraan Mechanical Universiti Teknikal Malaysia in Melaka. So I'm also one of the industry panel reviewing their syllabus as well. And also for College Kemahiran Tinggi Kemaman, specifically for the Piping Engineering Department. So in KKTM Kemaman, because it's a technological diploma technology, so they tailor out their syllabus to suit exactly the moment they step out, they can right away fly. Given any work and straight away fly. They don't have to go through the learning curve as engineers anymore. So their syllabus is pretty much bespoke, meaning custom, pretty much custom towards what the industry needs. So I'm also one of the advisory panel presenting the paper to. We prepared the paper to Engineering Technical Accreditation Council. So we have 2 accreditation council in Malaysia, EAC for degree programs, engineering programs, and ETAC for engineering diploma programs, be it pure engineering diploma or technology engineering diploma. Okay, so that's about me a bit, at least as a reference of where I've been working in Malaysia and outside Malaysia, and also in terms of my involvement in engineering education. Okay, so I don't have any slides because I don't want to bore you guys. You guys been studying and you guys been seeing so many slides from your lecturers. So for me, no more slides lah. Enough lah. Let's stop je lah. But before that, let me share something with you. How do I do this? Is it a window? Yes, this window. Okay. But I'm not sure if the window can play any sound. If you didn't hear any sound, let me know. Did you see the Corning logo? Boleh nampak Corning logo? Okay. Alright. Tak apa. You can angguk-angguk pun the camera will pick up your movement and your image will appear in the I can see. Okay, ada dengar bunyi? Can you hear anything? Tak ada. Okay, alright. So let me try again. Stop sharing. Let's try again. Tap. Share tab audio. Okay, now. Oh, tab ni kalau internet je Oh, macam tu pula. Cancel. Share entire screen. Screen tu. Tak ada video juga. Okay, give me a second. Because I have downloaded the video actually. But then Google doesn't share the audio. Okay. Alright, let's try again. There you go. Share tab audio. Tadi dah full screen. Can you hear the sound and also can you see the image? Okay. This is not science fiction. We are already developing cars that can do exactly as what the video is showing. Tesla is among one of them. Okay. This technology is currently being developed in China. So it's not science fiction. It's actually happening. And that tax in China is not for show lah. It's real. Okay. The fundamental basics for this technology is your matrix. You learn matrices in engineering and maths. Matrix 3 by 3. The economics and ICT students also study about this matrix, basic maths. So this is the fundamental understanding, fundamental concept for this. They call it tensor flow. ICT guys would know lah, tensor matrices. Okay, end of video. Okay, alright. So there was a short video, just a short video, around 6 minutes. But the takeaway question that I would like to share with you guys, or I would like to ask you guys, is that do you want to be just a spectator, seeing all this technology being developed, being used, being marketed, being applied, being sold, being utilized by people around you? Or do you want to be part of it? Okay, there's so much more that is going on in the world that requires your talent, that requires your presence, that require your active participation. Okay, to be in the forefront, to be the person actually running the show related to all these new technologies. Okay, the future is not gloom. Yeah, we just recovered from COVID. Okay, and we may see some other pandemics going on later on in the future. Forget about all the so-called conspiracy theories and whatnot, but the threat is real. So we have to step up. We have to move on. We have to be vigilant and we have to be ready and equip ourselves. Okay, all right. So there you go. 30 minutes already down the drain. All right. So what I would like to share to you related to this presented to this speech hari ni, I call it mindset of champions. Okay. So for you to currently, okay, I want to share with you a story. Why? Okay. Why you need to improve your CGPA? Okay, this is an interesting story lah. Okay, because the current what do you call it? The current information that I have is that most of you currently have slightly lower CGPA lah. Okay, around 2.5 and below. Okay, as I asked earlier, if there are any of you that are having higher than 2.5 CGPA, please share with me. It doesn't really matter anyway because I'm still going to share the story. Okay, let's say I have a workshop. Okay, I'm giving an engineering technology simply because of the students are engineering students. Okay, but I'm sure from other kuliah you can also see the relevance in this analogy. Okay, let's say I have a Mercedes, a BMW workshop. BMW car workshop. Okay, so BMW is a category under category luxury, a luxury car. So of course, rich people drives it, and of course, rich people spend a lot of money to fix the car. And among all these so-called luxury cars, BMW are among the most expensive to maintain. Okay, they have good handling, drive, memang best to drive. But then in terms of maintenance, when something happen, people normally cry lah. Okay, especially when they have to fix the gearbox. Okay, that's why I don't have a BMW. I have other models, but not BMW because it's not rationally reasonable in terms of maintenance costs for me as an engineer. Okay, back to my analogy. Let's say I have a workshop. Fixing as being a specialist to repair BMW or to maintain BMW cars. So I have expensive cars being repaired, and normally when you are in the business of fixing or servicing or repairing or selling expensive stuff, your profit margin will also be high. It's akin to like you compare yourself between a Pro2 factory and a Mercedes-Benz or a Lamborghini factory. Pro2 factory produces maybe around 1,000 cars a year. Lamborghini factories produce only around, say, 100 cars, 70 cars a year. But the profit margin for a Lamborghini factory is more than twice or 3 times the profit margin for Pro2 cars. Why? Because the car is manufactured cheap, so the profit margin has to remain cheap. So that because the selling point is it's a cheap car. But for Lamborghini, you're selling the brand. You're not selling necessity. You're selling the brand. You're selling the luxury. You're selling the prestige. That is normally, if you follow Maslow hierarchy of needs, some of you, especially in terms of in management students, would understand, would learn this. Maslow hierarchy of needs. Luxury is beyond, already past the necessity level. First is necessity, food, shelter and stuff. And then status, prestige is on the higher top of the pyramid. Okay, so people pay and are willing to pay big money for that. So I have a lot of money. Yeah, because I have a BMW factory, BMW workshop. So let's say I have 2 new young graduates. I don't care what their CGPA are. Okay, so I hire them and I say, because I have a lot of money, I don't mind paying you guys free income for 3 months. Say 3 months lah. Make it 4 months lah. No problem. I have enough money. Yeah, fresh graduate salary, no problem. I can pay. They say that's the analogy lah. That's the analogy lah. Okay, so what they have to do throughout the 4 months is just they have to see what's going on around the company, and they are given a manual of BMW, the BMW car manual. Okay, and just read the book, go around, see whatever that is going on in the workshop. And after 4 months, I'm going to test them. I'm giving a car, 2 cars, each one of them each, one each, one car each for them, and similar, pretty much similar damage. So I give them maybe like what 2 hours or 3 hours or maybe 3 days, doesn't matter, just to see how many repairs, how many can they fix. Okay, so one student can fix pretty much uh, half of the damage on the car, and another student can fix around 80% of the car, of the problems inside the car. Who would I hire later on? Would I hire the person who can fix half of the damage inside the car, or would I hire the guy or the lady that can fix at least 80% of what's damaged inside the car? So I think it's an obvious answer. It's a logical answer, the 80%, right? Okay. But then, not everybody have a BMW factory or a BMW workshop. And not all companies can easily hire a young executive, be it an engineer or an accountant or a lawyer even, to give them free salary for 3 months or 4 months and expect them to later on perform, and later on, okay, then we'll decide to hire you for real and give you another salary increment. Okay, so we don't have that luxury. We are living in a very rational world where everything is limited, and we don't have much time to wait for people to mature and grow inside the company. So we leave that job to the universities. So that's why universities are structuring their syllabus pretty much like the analogy that I've given. You've given a semester, you've given 6 or 5 to 6, or some people take 7 subjects, and then you've given the textbook with all the classes for you to be aware of what's going on related to the book that you've given. And later on, at the end of the period, or what we call semester, you've given the test to see how much you understand. And then also, we don't want people who can perform one time and then throughout the entire year, they're pretty much dormant or not performing. So we need consistency. So that's why the syllabus in the university are structured that you need to be consistently performing throughout the entire duration of your program. If you have 8 semesters, I can see some people smiling already. Okay, I hope you understand my point. So that's why that's why company hire people that have high CGPA. Because of this very simple logic that I've just shared with you. It's pretty much a no-brainer, but sometimes you need to spend a bit of time to understand why. Then you can see why people are hiring. Okay, some people say, because I had that experience too when I was studying, right? I used to think that people who are scorers, they just mark their books. They don't really know how to communicate. They don't really know how to present their views. Okay, in a way it makes sense, but would the company care? Because in the end, you are hired to solve the job. You are hired to perform a task, a specific task being given by the company. We are not hiring talkers. We are not hiring people who can mingle around with friends. No, we are hiring people who can solve the job. You're given the task. Whatever you do outside your working hours is none of the company's business. It's your own business. So it's okay for you to carry on with whatever you want to do. But when it comes to the work, which the company is paying you salary, which you may use it to support your family, to support your lifestyle, whatever your requirement, to pay off your PTPTN loans. By giving the money, the company is expecting you to perform based on the given job. And as a surety that you may perform, that you can perform, that you have the potential to perform up to 80% of the given up to at least 80% of the given task, they refer back to your CGPA. Okay, I hope it is very, very clear to all of you. Okay, but then again, it's not really that easy, right, to get 3.3 flat, 3.0 or 3.5. When I was a graduate, yes, good, good. I expect that. Please reply. No problem. Feel free. Okay, feel free to reply or say whatever your concerns. I hope we strike off the so-called uh, idea that doesn't really matter to be. You don't really need high GPA to be a good engineer or a good programmer or a good accountant. Okay, but actually it does, because that's how the industry is seeing it. And that is I given you the logic already. Okay, so it's not that easy to get. Okay, so why is it not easy to get? Because there are certain steps you need to plan. Okay, you need to plan, you need to know. Okay, if this is the syllabus, you have to spend some time, you have to spend an effort. But you need to spend your effort smartly. Not just mark the book and then struggle and then figure out why can't I understand this, why can't I memorize this. Why? Because you're not writing it back. Most of you, when you go to school, you go to class. I was one of you as well before. When I go to class, my book is closed. Yes, I wait for the lecturer to tell me, and then if I understand, I understand. If I don't understand, okay, never mind. Later, I'll figure it out later myself. Maybe 3 or 4 days, or maybe at least a night before the exam. Okay, that was the mindset. Normal. We all been through that, but that's not the right way. When I did my masters, I graduated with 3.97. My degree, hancur. Hancur is meaning like just so-so lah. Okay, but when I came to a realization and I did my masters is 3.97. I got 4 flat for 2 semesters. It's a 3-semester program. The only semester I didn't get 4 flat was because I was seconded to Sudan again at the time. So I didn't submit one assignment. No, not one assignment. I didn't attend the midterm exam. I can't attend because I'm not around. I'm not in Malaysia. So how can I attend the class? Right. And then the lecturer somehow doesn't want to give way. I've told him already I'm not around. He was thinking like, because it's an executive masters, it's a master that you have to work and study at the same time. The lecturer somehow doesn't want to compromise, so never mind lah, it's okay. I've graduated being the first in my class anyway when I did my masters. Okay, so you have to plan. You have to see back how much does the syllabus cover. That's the first. You have to be happy that you want to learn. You don't want to just so-called, some people, those days we call it diaper brains lah. You memorize everything, you study everything related to the textbook, and then during the exam, you throw out everything that you can remember, whether it's relevant or irrelevant, don't care, you just write whatever you remember, and then after the exam, you forget everything. Come next semester, the lecturer asks you about what you've learned before, you can't remember. It happens to a lot of us. Why? Because we did not appreciate that knowledge. And that is the problem. You have to go through the same cycle. Once you start this so-called diaper brain, you have to go through the same cycle every semester. Okay, so studying is not just, maybe we were, of course, good students, excellent students when we were in school. But when you come to university, it's a different level. You have to be aware of that. And first year ke, second year ke, fourth year, final year ke, it's the same. It's different. It is when you are required to put an effort to learn. And the learning process is not similar to what we were when we were students. Some of you might come from boarding school background. So-called budak-budak pandai lah, clever kids from boarding school. But when you come to university, somehow doesn't really fit in. I find it very difficult to catch up with the university syllabus. Why? Because the method of learning is different. When you were a student, it's pedagogy. When you become university graduates, it's called andragogy. Okay, so it's a different methodology of teaching. Lecturers don't teach, they facilitate. You don't expect your lecturers to give everything during exam, also before exam, giving you some tips. No, they are just there to facilitate. Why? Because university is a place where you are paid, you are given money, your parents give you money, PTN give you money, some other organization maybe give you money as well for you to learn and think, primarily to think. So You have to think how to score the subject, not using conventional methods conventional method when you were in school before. Okay, otherwise you won't be in university. Okay, and maybe some of you might feel that how do I say it? Some of you might feel that whatever you're studying is not for you. Okay, then that is something that you may have to do solat istikharah yourself lah. Why? Because there's a lot of us. Yeah, from my batch, I'm the pioneer batch for materials engineering. And when I came, I don't have any seniors, and there were only 4 of us in our class for materials engineering at the time. The engineering as in overall is even I think less than 200, maybe around less than 150. A lot, very little. Now you have around 3,000 students in Kuliah of Engineering. Okay, so it's a different ball game altogether. Lecturers, even now you have a lot of so-called caring lecturers. Most of them are younger than me, so I know them. Some of them are even my juniors. Okay, a lot of them are my juniors. Only a few of them good. Of course, you don't have, but you have to adapt. As an you're engineering student, Farhan. Oh, Farhan. Yes, you have to change lah. To change. But it doesn't hurt to go and see your lecturer every time you think that you don't understand something. Okay, they are normal people as well. Of course, being a lecturer, they have to stay at a certain level like being a lecturer and you being a student. But if you ask information, they have to respond. They have to provide you information until you understand. Okay, so where were I? Where was I before about adapting, right? So you have to learn, you have to think, you have to use your brain, your Allah given brain, you have to use it to understand. Okay, all right. So as a champion, you were a champion before when you were a student, when you were a secondary student. So please maintain that performance. Why? How? By maintaining the mindset that you are. If you've been a student, you've been a champion. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be born. Okay, some of you learn bio, right? So you wouldn't be born if you're not a champion when you swim back then. So then you wouldn't be a champion that you get into universities. And when you get into university, some people feel that, oh, I'm not reaching that level. I'm not suitable in terms of academic understanding. The university has set a minimum guideline, a minimum benchmark. If you passes a certain mark, you're qualified for that. When university chooses you and accepted your application to join your specific kuliah, your academic qualification that you've shown through your previous examination actually shows that you have the skill sets. You have the analytical skill set, you have the mental skill set to survive, to understand what is being taught. That's why when you want to join engineering, there's a specific subject that you need to get A, specific subject you don't need to get A. When you want to join medic, you have to get everything A. Why? Because the burden of studying medic is very high for you to perform later on as a doctor. If you want to join another specific different course, maybe mass communication in UiTM, so the different set of subjects that you require. You don't really require technical subjects. So that's why university have tailored the requirement to enter university as to a certain level, because they know people who pass that level, inshallah, will be able to survive, will be able to perform throughout the entire program duration. Okay. And then, of course, you need to put an effort, as I mentioned before. Everybody's clever. Yeah, everybody's clever here. You have to believe in that. You have to believe that you are clever. You're not stupid. Okay, it's just that you have not found a way, or you have not put enough effort. It's not your fault. You might not found the right effort to put, or the right amount of effort. It's just a matter of finding yourself and finding what's best for you to score, and to be the good student, to get the 80% requirement, whatever it is, so that once you enter the job market, you are higher above the rest. Otherwise, your CV will just be like anybody's CV, and people will just skim through Okay, typical, pass away. Typical, pass to the side. We can send another session lah. I think later on, Memesa doing some with IEM are doing some session about CV writing and LinkedIn profiling. Later on, if you have that opportunity, you may join that as well. And of course, you have to keep persistent because that's what the requirement is. You have to maintain your persistence, your effort, your mindset, your goals, your target. You have to maintain persistent throughout the entire course program. If it's 8 semester, 8 semester, if it's 12 semester, 12 semester. And then you have to persevere. Bertabah. In bahasa, we call it bertabah. In English, we call it persevere. You have to persevere. Yes, it's not easy. If it's easy, it's not in university. Right? If anybody can do it, it's not the university. So you are among the chosen one. You carry. Some of you carry hopes and aspirations of your family members. So don't give them the wrong impression. Not just about you, but about your profession later on. Why? Because some of us, after graduated, end up spending 2 years just to get a job, and then your relatives feel like, alah, that guy took engineering, still couldn't get job. But it's not really because of engineering. It's because of maybe your CGPA is not sufficient enough. Maybe you didn't have a good LinkedIn profile. Maybe you didn't have a good coach to write a proper CV. Maybe you don't have enough networking to look for the companies that are hiring. Maybe you don't really know how to perform during interviews, right? But because of that, unfortunately, but it all started from the not having enough CGPA to get the attention of the hiring companies. Okay, question and answers. Because I want to end this session with another video about survivorship bias. I'm going to membabel again for a few more minutes about survivorship. Because some of us, after getting certain CGPA ni, I'll just survive lah. No problem lah, whatever CGPA, I'll just survive. Okay, I have another video about survivorship as well. Survivor bias, they call it. Okay, so before that, any questions?
Sir?
Yes. Brother Abdul Rahman.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, sir. Sir, you mentioned just now that some companies, they care about the CGPA more, right?
Not some company, all companies.
All companies.
Yeah,
So,
except Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Well, sir, also you said that like what is the required subject, the required CGPA for the old companies?
3.5
3.5
for internship.
for internship.
Yeah. Yes, that's another thing. Yeah, thank you for highlighting that, brother. Thank you very much. For engineering students, I think for other courses as well, you have internships, right? Okay, internship is your way to get at least one step into whatever industry that you want to join. Okay? Why? Because that's how I did it. Okay? In my case, I know my CGPA is Chinese people say hamlao lah. Yeah? Some of you might know it lah, hamlao. Seriously, hamlao. Meaning not good lah. Tak bad lah. Tak bad. Really bad. Okay? Even when I see it, I was like, after so many years, then I see back my CGPA, like, what the hell am I doing there? Right? I was thinking like that lah, to that extent. Okay, but then I had a strategy because at that time it was a bit too late for me to fix a CGPA to get at least 3.5 lah. Because I've set my mind to join oil and gas industry. At that time, 20 years ago, yeah, I've been in the industry for what? 18 years. I've been in the industry 18 years. Solid engineer. I've been a solid engineer in oil and gas industry. Meaning I've never been currently, alhamdulillah lah, not yet lah. Hopefully not. Alhamdulillah lah. I've never had a session or even a month where I was unemployed. Some people were hired and then they resigned or they got laid off and then they had to wait some months. But I, alhamdulillah, spent the full 18 years being employed. Every month I receive salary from five different companies. Okay, I've changed companies as well, which is a good thing, no problem. You need to have a career change as well. Tak ban Brother Azami. Okay, so my strategy was I need to get myself hired in an oil and gas company as an intern. How do I do that? I identify an oil and gas company which have not had any IIUM graduates as their intern, and I call the engineering manager right away. I call the engineering manager. Okay, so when I call the engineering manager and I told them that I'm a UIA student, I believe you have never received any IIUM student as your intern, so I would like to apply to be your intern. So the answer was, at that time, Allah, rezeki from Allah. He said, okay, when do you, he asked me, when do you need to come for intern? Even something maybe like around 7th of May or 12th of May or something like that, 2003. Was it 2003? I can't remember the year. And he said, okay, come. Then I said, I need to get a reply letter from your company. Okay, then you send us a letter, then we reply. So that's how I got myself being an intern in MMC Oil and Gas. But then once I got the opportunity, I did my best. I performed. I was very proactive. I was very helpful to all the other engineers, making sure that I help them and learn as much as possible. I make sure that I ask at least 3 questions related to the work to the engineers. One engineer one day, and then to the extent that, okay, if you want to ask question, come to me after 5 o'clock. That was the reply I got. And then of course, after 5 o'clock I came, I don't care. But after that, right away, after I finished my final paper, my mechanical manager at that time, his name is Zulaidin Tasrin Osman. He heard from somebody else that my batch or UIA students should finish their exam by these dates and these dates. So he right away called me because he has my mobile number. He called me, Ridzuan, you finished your studies? Yes. Okay, all right. Give me a few weeks. I'll call you back. Right, and then okay, I was doing something else. I wanted to do some business at that time, tuition business. And then what happened was, after a few weeks, while I was busy actually setting up my tuition center, he gave me a call. Ridzuan, okay, how's everything? What you doing? So I told him earnestly, not expecting anything. So I told him about my tuition business. And then he came quiet for a while, and then he said, do you want to go to Sudan? So okay, I dropped everything and joined the company. So that's how it was. That's how it happened. That was what happened to me. Okay? It may also happen to you, given the right opportunity. It's not unique, as in unique only happening to me around the world throughout the history of mankind. No, it can happen to you, but it happen in a different circumstances. Okay, so that's your strategy. But the best and safest strategy will definitely be to upgrade, to increase your CGPA right away so that you can increase your visibility. Otherwise, you will not be visible, and you have a very difficult time to get yourself being visible. Why? Because we have thousands of IIUM students already graduating. Almost every company in Malaysia knows about UIA, so it's not really that easy. Back in my days, I had that opportunity. But how do I know that I had that opportunity? I looked around. I figured out. I did effort to find out how can I have a leverage, how can I have a higher hand for me to survive, for me to get what I want. So it's not that straightforward. You still need to do a lot of thinking process. And the best thinking process will obviously be the most straightforward that you have in front of your eyes currently. Improve your CGPA. Okay. Alright. There's another question. Wait, let me move around my mouse. Okay, I'm going to answer the in-call messages from Siti Balkis. Okay, so first Farhan Nizam lah. I hope you will find out lah how to adapt to the studying teaching university. Why? Because lecturers are facilitators and they are not there to teach. That's why you don't call them teachers. You call them lecturers. They gave you lectures. You have to learn. You have to make sure yourself understand, and you have to find additional materials so that you can understand. It's not their job. Okay, university lecturers are are supposed to be to share the information to you and also to do research, because there's a higher level for us to progress. And when you reach your final year, you exposed to final year project. Final year project is actually part of the research program, okay, where universities conduct, so that you understand the scientific thinking, how to think as a scientist. Because your degree is degree in engineering, and engineering is part of science, and you need to learn, you need to understand the process of thinking as a scientist. Okay, so what are the matter that really important from critical case, and what are the matter that really important instead of having higher CGPA? Get your CGPA first. Don't lose your focus on that. Okay, that's one thing. You can go pursue communication skills. Companies don't really care whether you're on Persatuan Silat Gayung ke, Persatuan anak negeri ke. Okay, they don't care. It doesn't add value to the company. It doesn't make the company richer, right? So why would the company bother if we are the president of Taekwondo club or president of athletic club? No, it doesn't care. They are caring. What they care is, can you finish the job, the problem that the company is having? The only reason why they are hiring people is because they have a problem, they don't have enough people, and they need people to solve the problem. That's why they hire people, right? So how would it help if for other skills is other than obviously the agency GPA that you require, will be to maybe have a good communication, which you can learn along the way. You don't really have to do weird things lah. I'm not saying that you have to drop all your non or co-curricular activities. You can do whatever you like. Okay, we need to actually find some sports in life as well, because life is not just about working. But your current goal is that you are being trained, you are being put in the location here to equip yourself, to prepare yourself for work. So that's the current focus now. So stay on that focus. How to keep motivated? Now, that's a good question. I can't keep you motivated. Nobody can. Only you can motivate yourself. And how can you keep motivating yourself? By staying true and consistent to your goal. What is your goal? Why do you come to this university? Is it because your parents sent you? Or is it because your girlfriend came here? You have to figure that yourself. So whatever the reasons are, be consistent in that reason to keep yourself motivated. Okay? How do people after finish studying keep going on for extra courses, extra classes, go for the so-called executive masters, or pursue their own PhD when they are not even lecturers and the company doesn't even require a PhD? They have their motivation, they have their reason, but they keep istiqamah. And they keep consistent in their reason, whatever they want to do. So that should be our reason as well. Whatever your reason is anyway. Okay. And then, will company consider the fact that applicants repeated course to improve the GPA? No, they don't care. They only care on the final number. Meaning they care lah. Meaning they care lah. They don't care about you taking the subject 3 times. And the HR people are not that mean, like, oh, this student get 3.5, but some of the subject he repeats 3 times, so I don't want him lah. No lah, they'll be very silly lah. The company objective is just to get somebody to solve the problem as an added member, which can bring value to the company. So as long as you meet that criteria, it should be sufficient. Now, back during my days, we cannot prepare our courses. We repeat, and then the previous mark says the total hours remain added. It's not written off. You guys, I was told that you guys can basically write off whatever low grades that you get previously and improve your CGPA. So you guys are lucky. And don't just stay on lucky, use that opportunity. If you can improve your CGPA, improve it. And you have to improve, otherwise you won't be visible among the thousands of people graduating. I'm not trying to scare you, that's the reality. Okay. Alright. And okay, now it's already 12 o'clock. Any other questions? Or question from SITC? What is the... Oh, is it for me or what? Oh, for ICT. Alright. Any questions? Maybe any of you would be brave enough to ask me question using the mic. Yeah, we're engineers. We don't really like to talk. I know. I'm an engineer too. I'm still an engineer. We don't like to talk. But when we are required to talk, we have to talk lah. So currently the requirement is coming from me. I want you to talk. So please.
Sir?
Yes, Brother Rahman.
Sir, again, I have another question.
Yes, brother.
For internship, do we need to get higher marks, higher CGPA for internship?
Yes.
If you're doing the internship?
Yes, yes. The answer is yes.
Sounds yes. All right. Thank you, sir.
Straightforward answer. The answer is yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Alaikum salam, Brother Yusuf.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, first of all. Jazakallah khairan for giving us your time.
Afwan.
My question is, do companies consider masters? Like, for example, if our CGPA, for example, in degree is quite okay, so we went on for masters and we did like excellent. Do the company consider that or not?
Depending on company, but as a general rule, sorry to say, no. Don't focus on something that is still far away. You still have a few more semesters. Focus on that. Go all out. Go all out on that. Okay? Because if you say, I can't do anything, it's already too difficult. What guarantee do you have that you can score in your masters? You say that it's because I'm here in UIA. UIA is difficult. Lecturers are difficult. They don't give face. What chances that that lecturers and other universities will give face? You're giving your, what do you call it? Something that this is the uncertainty bias juga lah. You're having a specific bias. I'm not saying it's bad. But it's a condition. It's a psychological condition. Happens to all of us. Okay, don't worry. That if we are having some difficulty here, no problem. Later on, we'll have something better. It may not happen. Okay, it is based on chance, and we are engineers. We are being trained to think rationally, mathematically, more or less rationally, right? So the likelihood of it being easy later on, when it's difficult now, and the fact that the thing that is happening now is the prerequisite for you to get whatever you want to do whatever you want to do in the future, makes that so-called chance very unlikely. I hope it's clear because I'm speaking in tongues, right? So it's here and there, but yeah, I hope you get the point. Okay, all right. So you have your target here. Don't sway from the target. Go all out. Do your best, and then inshallah Allah will also help you. Okay. Any other questions, brother? Where you're from anyway, brother Yusuf?
Thailand.
Thailand. Which part of Thailand?
Bangkok.
Bangkok. MashaAllah. Very good. Alhamdulillah. Very good to see our brothers in Thailand. You're not back yet, right?
I'm here.
I'm back. You're back already. Okay, very good. Hopefully, yeah, COVID was also quite bad in Thailand. They were okay before, and then suddenly it spiked up like crazy. Same like here. But Alhamdulillah. I think Thailand did okay lah. Okay.
Thank you, bro.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? I would expect some more questions from the locals. Okay, I want to share with you something while you Please cut me off by asking questions. Otherwise, I will keep talking. Old guy. Okay. I've given talks to private universities and also local universities. UIA, KTM, UKM, UKM once, UTEM, and also I've spoken to some private universities. One of them is Swinburne University, Sarawak. I also give some talks, engineering talks, technical talks. So I can observe that these so-called private universities, my session was around, I think it's a 1.5 hour engineering talk about industry 4.0, engineering education. About engineering education, that was the subject. 1 hour session, 30 minutes Q&A. End up, it's a 1 hour session lecture, but the Q&A is 1 hour and 30 minutes. Until the lecturer had to say, sorry, Cik Ridzuan, we are taking too much of your time. We said, okay, I said, no problem, because I appreciate the students wanted to ask a lot of questions. But for local use, man, you guys are supposed to be better than private you. What? So ask me questions now, please. I'm waiting. And that's the current problem though, actually. Industries, when we want to hire people, we see a lot of people from private universities. They have very good presentation. They are very confident in presenting their case. Their CGPA is not that powerful. Their CGPA is not that high, but they are very confident. But for our IPTA, regardless of race, this has nothing to do with race. This has nothing to do with even from nationality. When it comes to IPTA, it was expecting like you give you your paper and we are expected to be like, wow, when we see your paper. No, we don't care. We want to see that whether you can be a good addition to our company. So you have to be able to train yourself to communicate, to share, to outshine others. Yeah, in Malaysia they call it poyo lah, but poyo doesn't fit you. Poyo doesn't put table on the food. Not being poyo or being not blending with the others doesn't put food on the table. Doesn't make you above the rest. And we being UIA, the name of our university itself should put us above the rest. The international, the Islamic lagi. So you should be wow lah sikit kan. Okay, one question. What is your opinion regarding fresh graduate stating startup companies? Brother Abdul Hakim Malaysian ke non-Malaysian ni?
Malaysian sah.
Dengar suara kau. Orang Melaka ke apa?
Terengganu.
Okay. Terengganu mana?
Kuala Terengganu.
Terengganu mana? Losong ke?
Masjid Terapung.
Oh, Terapung Bandar ni.
Bandar.
Okay. Alright, so what is my opinion regarding fresh graduates starting startup companies? No problem. If you have the idea, no problem. That's the trend anyway. Startup companies, crowdfunding, can do it. You by all means, why not? Okay, good. I've given this point or this view to UTEM students before. Last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. Okay, there's a lot of cases where, some of you might be demotivated to perform in your academics, thinking that, why should I study? After this, I won't get a job. There's too many people graduating. The country is not providing enough jobs. Okay, some of you might think of that, right? It's not really true. It's more of a mismatch. We are still lacking engineers. The Kementerian Sumber Manusia still receiving reports from industries that they are not receiving enough manpower. Okay. So it might be a bit of a mismatch. You might be trying to look for areas where you have a lot of people already applying for the job. Okay. But there are places as well where still lacking engineers or still lacking executives. So it's more of a mismatch to a certain level. But then again, you are here given the privilege to think. I repeat that again. You are being paid through scholarship ke, loan ke, pharma ke, pharma means father mother lah to think and to learn. So you are here to acquire the skill sets of whatever from whatever kuliah, whichever kuliah that you're studying, from whatever courses that you are studying. Okay, it doesn't mean you will end up becoming whatever that you are pursuing. Yeah, rezeki from Allah is great, can be from everywhere. Okay, but the mindset, the mental skill set that you have will put you on a higher level. Okay, when I was studying, I was being pushed. You must be an engineer. You must be an engineer. Okay, I end up being an engineer. I stayed as an engineer. I have a lot of other friends who, after a certain number of years, tried business, do something else. No problem. They are businessmen with high intellect. They are shop owners having very high intellect in managing their business. So whatever business that you want to do, no problem. Right away, if you want to do, carry on. I have no qualms on that lah. No problem if you want to do. But make sure you have a backup plan. Some people, I have a case. We have a real case lah. Even Prof Azami also know this person. He started after graduating. He straight away continue his father's business. Father's business is agriculture. So of course, at that time it was good money lah. We engineers, we get salary around some of us around 1,000 plus. In my case, I got 3,000 because I'm an oil and gas company, and I was sent to Sudan, so I get a lot more money after that. But that was a different story lah, to rezeki lah. Whatever Allah gives is not just for me, but also for people around me. Okay, so there's there should not be a measurement lah. Okay, it's a different topic altogether. Like if you want to talk, I can talk until 3 o'clock lah about this. No lah. Okay, but then again, that person continued his father's business in agriculture. So his salary, his money was good lah. Because right away the business has already been established. So a lot of sellers, business partners and everything. So he continued his business. Both him and his wife. And both of them are engineering graduates. They continued business and looks very, it look very good lah. And with their cars, with where they stay and everything. After 5 years, somehow the business couldn't sustain. Unfortunately. 5 years only. And then he started texting me, asking, is there any job for him? I said, it's a bit difficult lah, brother. You spent 5 years in a different industry, now you want to join engineering. Well, we did try. So he tried to join a few more other companies, but somehow it didn't really work for him because he left engineering so long. So for him to get back that mental equity is a bit difficult. Well, it may not happen to you or to other people who left the industry for a certain time and then came back. But in his case, that was the case. So I didn't mention names, so it's not ghibah lah. I hope doesn't fall under ghibah. Somehow eventually he tried one company after another, and subsequently he decided, okay, no, I took a safety course and become a safety officer. So Alhamdulillah, he still have rezeki, still managed to buy a house. Okay, doing relatively okay lah. Okay, because wealth is not all that we are looking for. It's the pursuit of knowledge, pursuit of ilmu that we want. And by that pursuit of ilmu, by the contribution that you do to your society through your work and through other things that you want to do, Allah will grant you rezeki, sustenance. Because sustenance is not just for us, but for people around us. Okay. Alright. And make sure lah, once you work, make sure you pay your zakat. Okay. Alright. There's a question. Good question on the startup. Sister Asma. Assalamualaikum sir. Earlier you said the company cares about its GPA rather than the repeated student with two. Because of this, I would like to know if students may take longer than 4 years to finish degree with the effect his or her ability to get job. I think the university would care lah. Because you need to finish your degree in 6 years, right? That's the first point. Okay. I don't really have an answer lah. It's more on the, if you think you can continue to improve. I don't see that. I have not come across that case lagi lah. I think I need to talk with Prof Azamil on this. Whether are we seeing a trend among students extending their studies just to repair their CGPA, and to what extent do we allow that? Because you may also need to consider. I'm not discouraging. If you need to extend, you need to extend lah, right? But if you need to extend just so that you can get a higher CGPA in the pretext that, okay, because I get a higher CGPA, then I can guarantee myself to get a job. No, nobody can guarantee that. Okay? Why? Because you have your communication skill, how you present, how you do your CV and everything else. But of course, the primary point for people to actually start seeing your CV and calling you for an interview is your CGPA lah. Okay. So I'm sorry, I don't have that answer for that. With the fact, the opportunity to get a job, not really. But of course, it will be one of the questions the interviewer would like to know. Why? Why other people entered university this year, finished university this year, but you entered university this year and you ended up maybe a lot longer than others? It doesn't harm. You just give you an honest answer. And I'm also going to share a case. One of our alumni as well, same batch with the brother just now, who I told joined the agriculture field. He joined us the same time. After 4 years, when most of us graduated, he lost his motivation. This is very real. You lost your motivation because your friends are no longer around. You're seeing juniors, attending classes with juniors. So some of you might feel a bit shy. You don't want to join the class anymore. You're much more senior and then having to go through the same thing again. And somehow, that person left the kuliah. So, but he didn't left right away. He just said something like he wanted to take leave. So he told the deputy rector at the time, deputy dean at the time, he wanted to take leave. So he left. He left and he joined one company in Sarawak. It's a Sarawakian anyway. Joined one company in Sarawak on a sonar barge. It's still part of oil and gas, but much more upstream, where you do sound or acoustic analysis of the soil to see whether that soil have potential oil or not. Oil and gas or not. Okay, so he was there for I think almost a year, if I'm not mistaken. And then the deputy dean called him back. At the time, the deputy dean was brother Raihan, Professor Raihan. He retired already, I guess. Or he's still around, Professor Raihan. Prof Raihan still around. Okay, Prof Raihan called him, brother, do you want to come back? So that guy came back, finished his studies, and now he's the sales manager for Halliburton, a world-renowned oil and gas company. Upstream oil and gas company. So yes, I have a case to back. I have a story to back my case. You can finish later than 4 years. Doesn't affect your opportunity to get the job. Okay, but that's his case. I can't guarantee it will happen to all. But in most cases, no, they don't care. Once you get SGPA, of course there will be a question, but if you can answer it smart, then you have a good answer, then inshallah, it won't affect your interview. Sir, is it okay? One Hadi. Sir, is it true? Don't call me sir lah. Just call me brother. Is it true many companies does not accept OKU person? I'm OKU in slow learning. No. Multinational companies accept OKU, whatever OKU also, as long as you can finish the job. But it'll be difficult lah. I'm going to tell you lah, it's going to be difficult. I have a friend working with kementerian. One kementerian, I wouldn't say which kementerian. He said, okay, he was a graduate YA juga, but not engineering. He has like, when you have 2 legs, when one of his legs is a bit shorter. So it was difficult juga, and he has a lot of coping mechanisms. For OKU people, we have coping mechanism. Because I'm not that neurotypical as well. Okay, but I don't have a card lah. Okay. So
sorry, sir. We have already
already
finished our time,
Can
already
I finish answering the question short so that at least we can cover everyone?
Okay, sir.
Alright. Okay, so too many companies accept? No. Multinational companies accept. No problem. You will still find a place. Okay, but you have to be very honest. If you are an OKU, you have to be very honest. Tell the company upfront. Don't try to hide it. Okay, and then SITC, brother, loan issues. If you extend, good input from your professor here. Loan issues, if you extend, you have to pay by yourself. Okay, and then noted. Thank you, brother. Okay, all right. Okay, so I hope I've covered all the basics and all the questions. Is there a way for any of you still have questions but a bit shy to ask, to share information so that they can contact me?
Yeah, I have a few, sir.
But then we are short of time, so maybe I can. How about if I give you my mobile number in the group? Is it okay, Sister Saida?
Yes. I think
Okay.
yes. You can.
So I'll type my phone number. Why am I sharing my phone number? Because I want to help. Okay, that is the only reason. I want to help. It's not easy to get into university. Don't waste this opportunity. Here is my number. Don't text me during weird hours. Okay? But never mind lah. Just text. Just tell me who you are. You join the Mindset of Champion webinar. And this is your question. Short and simple. Okay. Alright. So over to you back, Sister Saida. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your meaningful and beneficial sharing based on your experience. Okay, dear respectful brothers and sisters, we shall thank you so much for being there for a long time. And on behalf of the organization committee, I would like to apologize for any shortcomings, and we are really sorry for our extra time. And before we end, I would like to remind you to stay in the meeting for a while for the photography session. And once again, don't forget to fill the attendance and feedback from given in the chat box. And we will highly appreciate if you join with us in SITC. The link is also here in the chat box. And you guys are warmly welcome to SITC. And we are now at the end of our event. I would like to thank everyone again for coming and making this program successful. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Brother Hassan.
Terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much.
Sama-sama.
You want to take a picture, right, Suzan? SITC? A picture?
Yes, please on the camera.
Yes, you can
Yes,
open all the
everyone, please
cameras.
turn on your camera.
All right. When you're ready, you can count.
Okay. Right.
I can see familiar faces here. Abdurrahman, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, good. How are you, doctor?
Surviving, huh? You're surviving, right?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. That's good. On your count, please, my son,
Okay.
on your count.
All right. Give me a minute.
My son, Mr. Ridzuan, is the president of the club.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right.
All right. You share the picture, I'll share it to Mr. Ridzuan.
Yes.
Thank you. See you guys again. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Give me-